So if we start off at the front of the building, and it's mainly about the cleanliness. I do believe we pay for this to be swept on a daily basis. This area here, I would normally clean this because that never gets cleaned. So that's been like that now, 4 weeks with the milk and everything else. You can see there's all this moss that's on the concrete. Again, we used to have contractors that used to come in and actually spray, which hasn't happened in the last few years. So we go through the main door. One of our other issues that we were talking about is our heating. A lot of these are very, very, very old. There is unique numbers on them. We suspected that some of these actually had asbestos in them, which was never looked into. Again, for fire, health and safety, we have a fire extinguisher, and it's water. And as you can see, the last time it was actually looked at was the 5th, 2020. So this year, is that correct? No, hold on. The 5th, 2019, on the left, my apologies, to be done on the 5th, 2020. So that's been there since I moved in. Why do we have water right beside electricity? Now, this is only just on the ground floor. Our other argument was that if you come in, so you come in the door and take a left, walk straight up here, you will see there is another door down the end here, which is meant to be for emergencies. This door, either it's new, okay, perfect for us to get out. However, if we look over here, there's a lock on that gate. That lock has always been there. For years, nobody has a key to it, and that will come into picture in my next video. So, walking down the stairs at the main lift, emergency exit, come out the emergency exit. Now, this door, there has been issues with the lock for quite some time. So sporadically for the last kind of 3 years, you'll go to use the key and it won't actually work. And so you'll have to go down and use the other door, which will come clearer. So again, if we were to walk up and carry on to the very top up here. So this is leading on to Claremont Mews. So the Mews is directly here, and we're back at this emergency door. So, emergency door is there. There's a new emergency situation being put on there in place. Hasn't been tested, I don't know if that's even working. They never used to be. But we come to this lock. Now there has been a lock on this gate since I moved in here, which was 2011, and nobody has ever had access. And we've complained about this, and we've emailed about it, and we've talked about it, and still the lock is on the gate. So our other issue is the fact that we have asked, so we're back to the emergency door. When you come out, there is a wooden fence, which is the bin store. We have also asked that the bin store to be moved from this location. We've also asked the bin store to either have the wood taken down and concrete. Reason being for that is, as I said earlier on, that's the emergency exit. If there was a fire and the fire was actually in the bin storage area and you came out that door, the only option you have to get out is up here. But that's where the gate is, and that's where you can't actually get in or out. So coming down, walking down the bin store area, this is also a major. So if that was on fire, you have no way, so you're trapped at the back, and especially with that door that I said is not working properly. Also again, we have put forward about the grounds. If you can see here, it's all covered in moss, all covered in grass. Every year that it used to be sprayed hasn't been sprayed in about 2-3 years. Now obviously we're coming into the finer weather, however during the winter this was quite dangerous because it got wet, and people were slipping, and we do have elderly people in here. So if we go back to the bin area, the bin area has been a major issue for, gosh, I have emails going back now since 2013, and it's always the same thing. We don't have enough bins, they're not being collected on time, they weren't being brought out by the company, they weren't being brought back in by the company. So this is the situation at the moment. So since the end of January, bins haven't been collected. Now it has come up, it has been flagged that due to parking on the Mews, which is just down through the bottom there, that the bin men can't get up the road. That's fine, that is plausible, but it's not plausible since 2013. If you look, for example, these bins here, okay, so these bins belong to the old system of recycling. They're obsolete, been asked to take away, hasn't happened. Rubbish still hasn't been taken away. These blue bins are obsolete as well. These have been obsolete since we got the new ones, so that's since the end of 2017. If you look here on the floor, you'll see this big piece of fencing with a solid concrete post. I spoke with our housing officer in December, face to face, about this. Also emailed. She even came to the building because this had broken off and it was literally just hanging on a thread by these nails. My concern was the fact that obviously it's concrete, and for someone to come and sort it out. It wasn't until we had the storm Kira in February that it blew down. Luckily this never came and kind of hit anybody, because it's, you know, it weighs a good few stone. But now we're in this month and still nothing. Now this bin area has been cleared since January, I think about 2 or 3 times. There's no need for it. There's absolutely no need for it. You know, the amount of money that has been spent, and I actually asked somebody to go and investigate to the amount of money that has been spent, and it's got nothing to do with the residents. We were always recycling properly. The brown bins hadn't been collected in probably about 2 years, so food waste was going into general waste, which was also reported on several occasions. I have emails directly back from Belfast City Council stating the same, which then increased the rat population. So that's how the rat population has become so big, and there's even it's huge now. And sure, why wouldn't it? They have free food. If we look at our recycling bins, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 recycling bins in total, and that's all we've ever had is 7. Apparently one of these bins is to do a family of 4, so we have 7 for the whole building. So to kind of break that down in terms, if you look at the building, we've got 1 block, 2 block, 3 block, and then 4 blocks. Those 7 bins are just not even enough for the first block. So every week the first block is entitled to recycle, second block not, third and fourth there's no room whatsoever. And as I said, this has been an ongoing issue. If you look at the back here now, you know, there's just waste absolutely everywhere. And let me just show you the difference in the floor. You can see all the moss. If you have a look here at the moss, it's all beautifully and clear. And the reason being is because our neighbour has literally been out on a daily basis just cleaning it. So that's the difference. You see? There we go. And people might say, oh, it's a bit of moss. Well, no, it's not just a bit of moss. It's crazy. You know, we've got more waste over there, all around the back. We come down here, all full of moss, all full of. So this is the underpass. Now we have our bins underneath here. Okay, so the bins are meant to come out and be placed underneath here the day before they're meant to be collected. What has happened now at the moment is that these bins here, so that blue bin, the one towards it there, and these 3 blue bins, okay, have literally been underneath here since the middle of January. They haven't been cleared. And reason being is because they're overstocked like this. So all of the bins were put out. They were there for weeks and weeks and weeks. The cleaning crew came along and took rubbish out of some of them. So if we look at that one, has been taken, that one has been cleared out, that one has been cleared out. So those ones that were cleared out last week, okay, sitting here, were never returned back up. That's the common problem. So bins are going out over full, they're not being collected. Bins are going out and they're not being returned back in again. For example, we have this black bin. This black bin does not even belong to us. We also have fly tipping, which is a huge issue because when people just see rubbish out here all the time, there's a bed in there. The lighting's a bit poor here. Look, table here. Another Belfast City Council bin. That's not ours. There's a recycling bin that's empty, that hasn't been returned. We also have other boxes here, more paraphernalia. These blue bins are, for some reason, being put out. Again, these are obsolete. Oh look, there's a recycling bin behind all of this other rubbish. Now guys, as I said, this has been going on, the rubbish situation has been going on for years. This is nothing new. And as I said, I've got emails and I've got pictures and, you know, transcripts of conversations that we've had about this. So the bottom line of the bins is, we never had enough bins. So in 2017, the council said, yes, we could have 2 extra bins. So that would have brought us from 6 to 8 bins. And then automatically 2 of our bins disappeared. So we got 2 brand new bins and 2 bins were disappeared. Now this was also brought up in a face-to-face meeting that we had in 2018 as well. So still nothing's been done. So basically there's not enough bins for the amount of people that are in the building. So every single week there's always a surplus. But then every single week, that surplus, what happens is then the cleaning crew come along, take the empty bins and put the rubbish of the surplus back into the empty bins. Hence rendering the fact that there's always going to be a surplus. So God knows what's rotting in the bottom of this. You know what I mean? You know, we're talking about what, 13, 14 weeks that these have been underneath here. Now, not just the fact of the rotting food, you know, cars trying to come in and out, people fly tipping. After the Grenfell fire, the fire brigade obviously had come to the building, and one of their major concerns was, before we had the new system, somebody had decided to put our recycling bins down along here, which was, they were told by the fire brigade on the Lisbon Road that the blue bins or any bins are only to be put out the night before and taken away the day after because of fire risk. Because at the end of the day, these are all plastic and there's rubbish in them. If a fire was to start underneath here, directly above is a residence. And not only that, I told you about fire as well within the compound, so where the bin storeroom is. So if we walk up to the bin storeroom, you'll see actually that that's wood. There's cars right beside it. So if ever a fire was to happen in there, then you have all these cars as well that would just ignite. So the bin storeroom has to be encased in kind of brick, to be honest. So I just want to bring back out here again. So the issue that we're having with cars is here. So as you can see, cars, it's quite quiet today, obviously, with things going on. So that's the main door, which is an emergency exit. That's the main door, which is an emergency exit. So cars, there's yellow lines on both sides up until our building. and then it stops and then continues at the end of our building. So again, cars will park all the way up to the corner here. Now, as you can see, this is the emergency exit. Cars are allowed to park up. So as I walk back up again, one of the other major issues that we've had is this fire door, which is not a fire door. And this door has actually been condemned by your assets team directly in March 2018, I think. No, yeah, 2018. Reason being is the door automatically clicks in place. It's not a fire door. That's why it doesn't close. But yet, that has come up in conversation on several occasions, and nothing has been done about it. So, I'm back out on the first floor. Lights as well. We go through these bulbs in this building like no other. On average, these bulbs are only lasting a few weeks, and have done for the years that I've kind of moved in here. Again, you know, it's a concern of ours because, you know, it's money that's just been wasted and thrown down the drain. Yeah, so let's finally, we get to the end. So that's me, Dermot, flat 5. In 2016, there was a fire in this apartment here. The gentleman purposely set fire to it. I was in the building. I had to climb out my window. So my door was put through. This door was put through by the fire brigade. I had, because I was working at the time, so they placed a temporary door on my front door. I had to fight tooth and nail because it wasn't a fire door. So I had to fight tooth and nail to have a new door placed on. It was exactly 2 years from me emailing and asking, and eventually when I went to the AGM, I sat down beside a lovely lady who I didn't realise turned out to be one of the directors of communication, Ms. Patterson. So 2 years later, then that was the doors put on. We're now in, so that was 2018. Last November, the concrete part there was only fixed. So we're 2020 now. I had to pay for the number. It's still not painted. The door frame is not being painted. My last door that I had to pay for a number. And the last door I had didn't even have a letterbox. I had to buy one from Argos and screw it onto the door. So these are just some very small things about what's going on. They're just some small things that are going on within the building. That's just on the first floor. There are many other issues going throughout the whole building, but I just thought maybe this video would capture better than just constantly emailing backwards and forwards. So yeah, it's gone to the stage now where, you know, we really are tired. You know, the residents are sick and tired of it. You know, we did have meetings in December 2017. You know, the people in the building said, Dermot, you know, let's see if we can get meetings back up and running again. I sat down with Evelyn and asked the question, which was adhered to. And in January 2018, we had a meeting, and in March 2018, we had a second meeting. First meeting only had about 7 people. The second meeting, I think, had about 13. So there was an increase and an uptake on it. Then after the second meeting, revelations kind of came about CCTV, etc., and it was stopped. And there was no minutes for it. There was nothing. It was just absolutely stopped. And we were not told anything. A piece of paper was put up on the main front doors to say now that they're having a Tuesday session just to pop down. I believe not one person from the building kind of went down, because we were all so positive and all on the high about having these meetings, for them just to be, you know, stopped. Was a bit of a kick in the teeth, considering, like, you know, we've had major issues in this building. The ones I just highlighted are just the tip of the iceberg. You know, we can delve much deeper. So yeah, so the meetings were stopped. We were told, oh, pop down on Tuesday. Nobody kind of popped down, because, you know, nobody entrusts Radius anymore. They don't listen to any of us. So that's where we are at the moment. Attached in the email, I will obviously give kind of bullet points and stuff like that. But yeah, something has to be sorted out within the next kind of week. I understand that we're going through kind of difficult times with COVID-19. This happened well before COVID-19. Years has years actually. These problems that I have identified this morning, and as I said, there are a lot more. I really appreciate then if we can actually sit down. But I want somebody from kind of a senior management role or senior team to take these things on board, because, you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, we're at the stage now where enough is enough, and you know, if things don't progress, well then the video then will have to, you know, go to a news source and take it up from there. But thank you very much. Bye bye.